Yeah, yeah, wouldn't ends. We back with another one for the youths in them. Yeah, young, brilliant minds, future in sight. Got the power to make change, make the world ignite. Let nobody say you can't achieve. Your dreams are seeds, sow and just watch them grow. But you gotta believe in the youth effect. We're raising up the youth effect. Can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground, the youth effect. They gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up, the youth effect. Can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground, the youth effect. They gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up, the youth effect. Can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground, the youth effect. They gonna hear us roar. Create, initiate, push through, no limits. Go ahead and live it up. Respect, positivity, you on your way. Break down walls, build bridges. Yeah.
Hello, and it's another Monday, and we have a wonderful show for you. Thank you so much for the privilege of your time. We know it is 9 o'clock in certain parts of the world and 7 o'clock in certain parts of the world, and our guest tonight is in a different time zone also. And I appreciate so much he's coming on. He's one of our rising stars, and as I said today, you're watching the Youth Effect, and I'm your host, Kathy Robinson Sayan. And the Youth Effect is a conduit for the voices of our young people, empowering them, being some force of advocacy for them, a platform for them to spring forth and share the beautiful people that they are. Also, one of our missions, we have a few, is to bridge that generational gap between the older ones, millennials, Gen X, Gen Z. There's all a different language. So, what we aim to do here is to allow the different generations, mostly the younger ones, to express themselves, to speak their speak, so to speak, and to teach us, mentor us in terms of understanding them, so that we can have a more harmonious society in which we can all live better, and as well as breaking down the stigmas and the barriers we have facing.
I think your mic is muted. No longer hearing you. Here you are.
Okay,
Yes, I hear you.
I'm having some technical difficulties. I am sorry. I'm not sure if where we got lost. And I gave this lovely rendition of who Ajani is, and he's been our first inductee into a new book club, Cat Peters Book Club, Bookmarks and Best. And We'll hear it again as we continue the program, but the show must go on. So, welcome, Ajani, to the show, Mr.
Thank
Ajani
you.
Joseph.
Thank you. Pleasure. Happy to be here.
Okay, there you are. So, Mr. Ajani, you're from the drum roll. Tell us where you're
The,
from.
the great 767. Every time I hear Mr. Johnny, I think I'm in trouble. It sounds like my mother.
Ah, no, I know, right?
I,
Okay, so Ajani it is then. Am I saying it
no,
correctly?
yeah, Ajani,
Okay,
Ajani,
okay, okay.
same thing.
All right. So a little bit about you. Let me say what I know. You're from the lovely, beautiful, no other nature isle of the Caribbean, Dominica.
Yes,
You're an entrepreneur. We want to hear a lot about that as well. You're MBA graduate. Your work blends with personal philosophy, discipline, and practical guidance for young people, as we will see and explore further in your book that you've written.
sure.
You're also, as I said, you're the author of Built Not Born, The Architecture of Becoming. This is your first book. We're waiting for the second, which is a modern, grounded blueprint for self development. It draws on your background on economics, sociology, competitive athletics, and lived experience. And the mission, as you say, is to give young people clear principles and structure and a mindset required to build themselves with intention and purpose. And what stands out for me is the intentionality part of it. I have a few quotes that I got from it also. I would like you to explore on. And
Sure.
as well, I really looking one of the things that's written at the back of the book, it says, in addition to living with intention and integrity, I like that part, without ever trading conviction for conformity. Oh boy, you speak my speak.
That's very
So
important.
very, very important. So let's hear from you. Tell us a little bit more about you.
So I'm a Johnny Joseph. I am from Dominica, like you said, but more specifically Portersville. I'm a Charlotte boy.
Charlotte, boy, I like that
Yeah,
by the bay.
exactly. Portersville and then Canefield.
Okay.
I went to Pioneer Prep and then Convent Prep and back to Pioneer.
Okay. Yeah.
Finished. I went to St. Mary's Academy
Mm-hmm.
for my 5 years of high school. I did
Yeah.
1 year at the Dominica State College, and then I went to boarding school at Wayland Academy for 2 years.
Okay.
I then went to Beloit College in Beloit, Wisconsin for 4 years, where I studied sociology, economics, and some math.
Mm-hmm.
And once I was done with my undergraduate degree, I moved to Arkansas and pursued an MBA, a Master of Business Admin, with a focus on finance. And I am a student of life. That's how I would
Love it.
call
Love
myself.
it. Absolutely love that. Student of life. You cannot go wrong with
No,
that mindset, you know, learning from life and living experience and learning from the elders. Yes.
for sure.
And your books speak so much like a sage,
Thank
such
you.
wisdom.
Thank you.
The older people say you're wise beyond your years. Could you tell us a little bit more of this journey that brought you to this point?
Yes, a lot of it is me taking a very objective view of things and being brutally honest with myself and seeking the truth more so than seeking validation and being correct. And that has provided me with a lot of unlocks, a lot of key points and tenets that I have extracted, and I have noticed that some of them seem to be universal and true, and people before me have written about it and have expressed it perhaps in different words, and maybe it has manifested differently over different time periods, but the truth remains the truth irrespective of time and space, and that
Definitely.
is my obsession.
Hmm. Your obsession with truth or with time and space?
Both, but more so with truth.
Okay. Could you, but along that journey, could you give us one of the main influencing experiences in your life that brought you to the point of writing it down?
Well, for me personally, a lot of my peers come to me when things go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
When things hit the fan, I find myself being the voice of reason for a lot of people. And it's something that I noticed over the years, and this is just not by choice, really. It's not by my choice, at least. But people, a lot of my peers have always wanted to hear my perspective on things when things are suboptimal.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try to look at things from a different perspective and remove my emotions from whatever the situation may be and look at it for what it objectively is as much as I can. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
we can't perceive reality for reality, but we can do our best. One, like more specifically speaking, I don't want to talk about anybody else's experience that's why I chose that route in answering. But for example, going off and living in boarding school at 16 was a big experience for me because well, no one else was there, no parents, no guidance in the same sense, and everything was left on me, which
Mm-hmm.
is how
Of
it should
course.
be. It's a very good learning experience for me. It was
Uh-huh.
for me, and it changed me. It helped me to appreciate my mother a lot more for all the things that she did that I not necessarily took for granted, but I didn't account for it because I never had to do it. And based on that, I started a different brush with reality. I had a different brush.
Mm-hmm. And I'm still gonna press you. The turning point for writing the book. There must be a point where you just sat down, because I know writing takes a lot of effort. There has to be a lot of dedication and commitment. How long did it take you to finish the book from when that idea came? Yes, let me write this down so that my friends, so that they will have a legacy of all the wisdom I have passed on to my friends. It will be there for them. Hopefully, they'll read it.
So of course the book is not an exhaustive list of tenets,
Of course, yeah.
but when would I started writing in December of 2023, and when I was inspired I would crank out like a few thousand words in an hour, and then I would not pick it up for months, and then I would pick it up again and write, and then not pick it up for months. So I wrote my last bit of it in March of 25. And the reason I did it, strangely enough, is because whilst completing my MBA, I had no capstone or no final project for it. I had final projects for every class, but no one defining capstone project. So I had the time around my classes and my internships and stuff to sit and reflect and be with my thoughts. And that's what drove me to do it, because I said that, well, I could learn a skill, which I did. I learned how to write, I would say, but I wanted something to show for it for those 2 years that I had all of this time, because I knew that I was about to enter the professional realm of things right after, and I knew that I would never have that abundance of time again.
What was your favorite part in writing?
Oh, that's a phenomenal question. The thinking part of it was the best part, because I won't think and write simultaneously. I would have an idea and formulate it mentally for a while, weeks and weeks and weeks, and discuss it with my friends, and they would poke holes in what I thought,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the best part, because it helps me to reassess things, and it shows me that, well, what I think is reality is just not. It's my reality, but it's not objective reality. So when you go through that process of, hey, I have an idea, and you run it by some people, and they tell you, yes, this is almost true, but what about this, this, and this? And then you go back to the drawing board and you reformulate and you recalibrate, try to understand again, and then you run it by them again, and they say, yes, that is true, but this and this and this, until after enough iterations of that, you find what might be the closest thing to the truth. And when I have that, writing that down and expressing it in such a way that is almost airtight was the best part.
You know, three things you said. Some will tell you I like to poke holes too.
You should. That's a sign of independent thought,
Oh,
which is
thank
good.
you. Yes, it is. You said something like objective reality, not something
Yeah.
like you mentioned object. Is there anything as objective reality?
Yes, there is, but none of us can perceive it.
Okay. All right. We go into quantum physics or something like that now.
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
When because one of my things is there everybody experiences reality. We each have our own reality.
Of
Just as
course.
our reality is are different based on our experiences. So my reality will be very subjective to yours.
Yeah.
However, in me understanding your objective reality, um phrasing for the lack of the word that I want that's not coming to me at all. Um it would be me in being mindful, detaching from my experience and being objective to your reality.
Yes.
So
And that is humanity in a nutshell. Is what makes us human. A big part of it, from a neurological perspective, is the ability to have mirror neurons. So to feel what someone else is feeling by looking at their expression or listening to them. That's
mhm,
how you enjoy a movie, for example. Like you would place yourself in the heroes or the protagonist's
right.
shoes, and from that you can feel what they're supposed to feel. And that's why the movie, a good movie at least, and a good actor acting, you would have that emotional reaction because it's the human thing. It's you feeling what they're feeling simultaneously, if they're doing a good job, that is.
If you're doing a good job, that is. I love that
Yeah.
part too. The other thing you mentioned is the closest thing to the truth and almost airtight. They say there are three truths: your truth, my truth, and the truth. Then again, it comes from the different perspectives. It's like someone standing on one end, like we had someone I had a very in-depth discussion last week when we're talking about perspectives. It's like there could be a number, you're seeing six and I'm seeing nine.
Yep.
It depends on where you are standing, and also
Of
that comes
course.
right around again to your reality and your experiences and where you are in healing your traumas as well. But that's a whole new different other topic. But I sense that a lot of your book also has a lot of great and deep insight into a lot of that. One of the things I picked up from your book is it emphasizes that success and identity are cultivated through experiences, which is basically what you're telling us. I hope I got it correct. Experiences, habits, and choices rather than being innate. And I take it to mean when you see the architecture of becoming. I did architecture, and I know it's very tedious and it is very detailed,
For sure.
very detailed work. Very you need a lot of focus, and it takes a lot to be to create something from scratch and
Of
for
course.
something, but the end result is something of beauty and grace and function and aesthetics as well. So when
Of
you
course.
speak about the architecture of becoming, it has hit me like that. Could you give us a more in-depth insight on why you named it that?
So I chose architecture specifically because it is a science. Softer science, but science nonetheless. And I believe in God. I'm a God-fearing person, and I look at God as the divine architect of the universe.
Hmm.
But I also understand that within ourselves, we are microcosm of God.
Definitely.
So there's God within us. So we are partially God. So we are the micro level. God is the macro level. So He's the divine architect of the universe, but we must be the divine architects of our lives.
I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Great stuff. Um, you may be a sage reincarnated,
No,
Jaja.
no. It's not innate. It's through the experience and truth seeking.
Yes. But anyway, as I say, that's another whole different topic. I can go to an argument of how sage and can live on it, live on, live on. But some key themes also I put through, picked up from the book, uh interconnectedness,
Mm-hmm.
mindset shapes of reality.
Yes.
We speak to the inner child, tapping into a true mission and basically healing, rising up from our past hurts. We cannot carry our baggage along with us throughout life. We have to put it down somewhere.
Of course.
We speak with regards to resistance in transforming obstacles into opportunities. And again, it comes from a lot from mindset
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and self-validation, which is what you mentioned earlier about you having to be able to validate your own self, being self-validated. You're not waiting for somebody to tap on your shoulders and say, "Good boy, you did a good job." You had to rise up to the occasion, being away, and then
For sure.
also being appreciative now. When they say you only miss the water till the well runs dry,
Yep.
but till you sail the seas, right? And then the thing closest to my heart, which we're gonna
Yes.
talk about, is intentional living.
Yes. I noticed that was a big thing for you in
It
your
is
talk last week.
designing your day, circle, and life.
For
It
sure.
is very, very. My motto for my life and my business is also creating my life just the way I want it. Create my life. And that I am in the process of doing that every single day. Everybody that meet you tell me, he'll tell you that Kathy does what she wants, when she wants, how she wants it done.
True architect.
Thank you. Things doesn't always work out our way, but another thing that I can relate to in what you say, I uh, I believe I have a strong faith to in God, the universe. I am not religious, um, but I believe that we are all connected. Here comes the interconnectedness, and we're all part of the bigger picture. And if something doesn't go my way, though I embrace my emotions and I embrace disappointment, I can also say, you know what? The great creator probably preventing something, or it's keeping me just in time for something that is greater for me.
For sure.
So, not that I embrace toxic positivity, which is a thing, but I do my very best to see the opportunities in the disappointments. So tell me more of, could you tell me one of those things that work for you in terms of bringing you to those themes to tie them in?
So I have a chapter. Interesting you said that. I have a chapter called Learn How to Flip. And what it is about is taking a negative event or occurrence and turning it into a positive outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is negative and positive. There's darkness and there's light in the world. That is just the nature of the world. There's yin and yang. You can't understand darkness without understanding the concept of light, and vice versa. That is how it is. So the thing is, we like one side of things, but we may not necessarily like the opposite side. And because of that, we silo ourselves in and we become slaves to the positive and only seeking the positive without accepting the negative for what it is. And it's only through the negative that you can understand what the positive is. And that seems like a very a flawed part of our nature as human beings. And I wanted to understand it better.
Mm-hmm.
For example, one of the ways I understood this properly is when I realized that you can laugh so hard that you cry, or you can be in such immense pain that you laugh. And it made me realize that they are the same emotion, just different manifestations of the
Yes,
same thing, opposite ends of the spectrum.
that's right. Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge unlock for me.
Mm-hmm.
And another one was our short-sightedness as human beings. We look at things and we have our plan, we have our desired results, and we undertake something. And when it doesn't go exactly how we wanted it to, or how we wanted to, we abandon ship, or we are upset and we say, oh, it didn't go this way, it didn't go that way, whatever the case may be. But those very obstacles are opportunities to rise to the occasion and get something even better. Opportunity and obstacles are fruits of the same tree. Your mindset will determine what you get from it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. While we were scheduling this, I didn't answer you for a few days. And why? It's because I was going to the gym on Halloween night, Halloween evening, and on my way to the gym, I had a car accident. Somebody T-boned me, and
Oh,
it totaled my car. All my airbags were out. A Dominican could say it right off.
yes.
Yeah, and I walked out of the accident. I didn't have a cut or anything. Stepped out, I spoke to the guy, spoke to the cop, went home, got checked out, and I went to the gym. But there was something there that I know that I couldn't understand in the moment, but I
Mm-hmm.
understood that I had to remove my emotions from the situation for a while. And I'm actually grateful that I had the accident. There's something that I may not understand why I had it as yet, but
Mm-hmm.
later down I'll see. It'll all make sense.
Yeah.
And life can only be lived forward, but can only be understood backward. When you get that, you take a bigger view of things, and you're not looking at only the immediate results of everything. I
Yes.
have an abundance mindset. I think of the big picture, and I also understand that I am incapable of seeing the whole picture.
Whole picture.
Yeah,
Like the eagle, right? When the eagle flies
exactly.
up, I had a boss. At the time he was a pain, where. But in the aftermath,
In the neck.
I've had I've had quite a huge cuss your head off. But in the aftermath, I grew very appreciative. One thing he always says, you have to be like the eagle. You cannot be so short sighted. You have to see things from a broader point of view. So you have to be above. You have to be above it to
For
be able
sure.
to look. That's when you can see it. Because when you're too close to it, you don't see it at all.
That is so
And
true.
that's a great, great mindset to have that, you know, what's the lesson in this? Always, okay, I did this. So what's the lesson in this? And people talk about failure. And I tell my girls, I taught my girls that there is nothing called failure. There's lessons as opportunity. So many people started businesses and they are multi-million dollars, but it didn't come overnight. They probably had 500 failures before. We do not hear how many stars we hear slipped in their car. Look at oh my goodness. The anyway, Family Feud guy,
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey, he has one of the best stories, you know, and yet some people might look at him, at people who have, I don't even have to go far, even in our own environment, in our small community, when we see people finally becoming successful. I don't want to call any names because I know how names can go around. As I'm following this superstar of ours back home,
Mm-hmm.
and she does a lot of her own social media and her ads and a lot of promoting of Dominica. And she posted something this week on something somebody says about her that that could have a lot of vary. Well, once she worked hard to be where she is today, and that is one of the things our people don't see and appreciate how to elevate each other. And that's what we are doing with our young people on the show, elevating you all. And there we see. Built Not Born, the architecture of becoming by Ajani Joseph. How does it feel to see your name in print?
I don't believe it as yet, but I do.
Yes. You're
Uh,
still in that surreal kind of a space.
yeah, I have it here. Every time I get a copy, someone gets it from me pretty quickly. But
Okay.
it has not hit me as yet, honestly.
I couldn't
Not,
get it. I couldn't get a hard copy though. I only could get the Kindle. Is the hard copy?
it's available, and I'll post a link to the chat. Maybe we can put it in the.
Yes, put it in the chat and Sam will post it up. Thank you so much because I am old school when it comes to my reading.
Me too.
I spend enough time on the computers for me to have to read again on the computer. Although I can do audiobooks, but I like to read my book and highlight them and mark them up. I like to see the pretty colors, you know. So it's back to you. It has definitely been I'm seeing this accident as a twist for another book, Ajani.
Perhaps. I
Perhaps.
don't think it's enough, though.
Let
I
me
don't
tell you,
think it's enough
if we
for.
scrutinize or if we assess or analyze every little drop in our lives, you will see how magnanimous it is and it can become. And you have already showed so much insight. That one, like just what you just said, is in the backside. You look back on this and you're just in just that one incident situation, everything can just come pouring in. But
For
I leave that to you and the Holy Spirit and the universe and God to work through.
Of course, I think I need a little more content. For me, I almost forgot I had the accident. It's, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Okay.
And I also think it's important to note that there's some randomness in the universe as well. Some level of randomness, which some things are just inexplicable, and you try not to understand what cannot be understood or what should not be understood. You leave it.
I will say a little bit different. Respect that, but I totally believe in synchronicity. I believe things happen and in divine intervention, that things happen when they're supposed to happen. We meet who we have to meet and for a reason. Things happen how, as you say, you do not understand why now, but it happens when it has supposed to happen. I always believe that. And some my daughter is gonna tell me again, Mommy, you owe me money again, but I'm gonna mention her.
I I heard that in the last week.
So she was supposed to have this experience today, and something happened. My fault where she couldn't get it done.
Look at that. Mothers taking accountability. Wow.
Always do. Always
Continue.
do. We are models for our children. And if we cannot teach how to say I'm sorry or how to say it was my fault, I'm sorry, how do we expect them to come and say they're sorry, to be honest? So we're gonna come to that in terms of intentional parenting and what you bring across in your thing. And she wasn't able to get it, and know she was disappointed because she was looking forward to that for a very long time. And I couldn't tell her that because one of the first thought that came to me was that particular situation happened unknowing to me. So it was an honest mistake. However, God knew that a whole year ago. So why I'm saying that is in terms of what I believe in synchronicity. He looked a year ahead and he probably protected my daughter from something
For sure.
that should have happened for just this particular point in time. You know what I mean? So in my mind, when she called me and she said that, and I said, I'm so sorry. She said, Mommy, it's okay. I just get more practice. And I'm like, woohoo! My girl is growing because she would normally be upset.
That's the
And
mindset from her mom being passed down.
thank you. The mindset, but when you all are so nice, it makes us feel worse. But anyway, instead of
I,
ranting and raving,
I'm going to put that in my arsenal to guilt trip my.
yes, guilt
I
trip.
think I'm a little too old to do it now. Like maybe if I could go back a little bit, I'd guilt trip
Yeah.
myself more.
But yeah, so my first thing was thank you, God, thank you, universe, for protecting her, for protecting her. And then my older daughter said, Mommy, the same thing came into my mind, but I couldn't say that. I said, I couldn't say that too, because we believe also you can simultaneously embrace your feeling, but still have an acknowledgement of a greater power. Do you
Of course, both
see
things
that
can be true. And
both
it's like,
things can be true?
at the same time, it's just like I think that everything happens for a reason, but I also think that there's randomness.
Okay.
Just mathematically, not all things can be explained. Just like from a strict mathematic perspective, and that's something I just made peace with.
But
And
isn't that where the faith part comes in? Because the Bible says faith is unseen.
for sure, and that's I think that's the perfect way to leave it.
Yeah.
As the area of what we understand grows, so does the perimeter of what we do not understand. So
y-
that should humble you enough to well, me personally, it humbles me enough to
I
get a
believe we're
wider view.
I believe we're saying the same things in
We
different
are,
ways.
we
You're
are.
saying randomness, um, whereas I believe it may be for a particular reason somewhere down the road I do not know, but I put it as faith based and leave it there.
Agreed. And
No, not
randomness
necessarily being able
is
to understand it, but just accepting that this is how it should be. Because I
for,
believe things are as they should be.
for sure. And
Yeah.
randomness is for our perception in the short term, in the long term, nothing
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I love, love, love this conversation, Ajani. And as we go into a little bit closer to intentionality, your book, in terms of assessing and analyzing your audience, it is so not necessarily, I picked up, is not necessarily only for your peers. Also, it can speak to, I mean, for young adults navigating life transitions, it can speak to professionals seeking purpose and fulfillment. There is so much change happening now in some of us, second phase of life. Okay. Yeah, will be. Second phase of life, a lot of us are changing our career
Yeah,
paths, you know, as well as parents interested in how do I parent better, especially when talking about, oh, these children seek these labels on all of them. And anyone really looking to cultivate self-awareness and meaningful relationships. So there is such a wide array of audiences, people you talk to in your book, that we're going to explore them just a little bit while, and we're going to go to a break to thank our sponsors, and just keep your positions in front of wherever, YouTube, Instagram, Roku. Am I missing Facebook, of course? And if you're watching us also on Ajani's pages, then we'll be right back. We're off to a break. See you soon.
Presented by
Every bestseller, every life-changing story starts the same way, with a single idea. The question is, will yours stay hidden, or will it shine for the world to see? At G&D Enterprises, Inc., we don't just make books. We bring dreams to life. From first draft to finished masterpiece, we're your partners in editing, design, publishing, and even audiobook production. Your book's cover is your handshake with the world. It has to captivate. It has to invite. And once readers open it, every page must deliver a polished, professional experience. That's our promise. Great stories deserve great polish. Our editors sharpen your words, enhance your clarity, and protect your unique voice, because your story deserves nothing less than excellence. Stories aren't just read anymore, they're experienced. With professional audiobook production, your words travel beyond the page and straight into the hearts of your listeners. And when you're ready, we'll guide you through publishing and KDP setup so your book doesn't just exist, it thrives in the marketplace. This is more than publishing. This is your legacy. Whether it's your debut novel or your fifth big release, we bring the expertise, creativity, and personal care that turn writers into authors, and authors into legends. The world is waiting for your story. Don't let it stay in the shadows. Partner with G&D Enterprises today, and let's publish the book only you can write. Visit gndenterprisesinc.com/book-design.
Yeah, after you write this book, you'll come right on here to the Youth Effect and join our book club, be an inductee in our book club, Bookmarks and Best.
For sure.
Ashani, welcome back again. Thank you. So we're talking about the different audiences that your book targets, and I'm going to kind of bring it into. Oh, someone is saying what's amazing about Ajani's book is that it was so well written and easily digestible in spite of the complexity of the subjects he discussed. Very definitely, these are very, very heavy topics, and if it is not, if you do not have the level of insight to bring it down and break it down to people at your level to understand, it can be confusing. Thank you so much. I didn't get the contributor's name, but I'm sure it's one of your people, Ajani.
I think I know who.
Okay,
Yeah.
lovely, lovely. Thank you so much for that, and thank you for joining us. He did a great job. And one of the quotes he made, he had a lot of things in there that I wish I could spend the rest of the, talking about it. But Ajani, give us some insight. Your book is about architecture, yet you bring a quote about gardening in there, which talks about nurturing and tending. He said growth has always been less like building a tower and more like tending a garden. We don't ascend, we unfold. This is just, tell me, could you speak to us about that?
Thank you. I'm happy that you like it a lot. What it means to me more so than anything is that it's within you, more so than outside of you. When the student is ready, the master will appear.
Oh, another one of my great quotes. Definitely.
And we always think about the master as something outside of ourselves. That's not necessarily true. It is possible, but it's not necessarily true. I think the reason that a lot of the things that I wrote may have resonated with you is because those ideas were already within your mind. You have understood
Mhm,
them before. I just phrased them explicitly and put it out there. So when you read it, it connects with you, and you're like, I know I was thinking about that the other. You understand?
mhm.
So that is more like me talking to something deep in you
Definitely.
rather than you looking at something outside of yourself. That's what that means.
I love it. I had an experience Friday. I worked at a school, and this person I was working with, she says, "I'm going to retire," and so I asked her, "What are you looking forward to do when you retire next year?" She said, "Oh, that's easy. Is to find myself. I've been doing this for almost 40 something years." And I didn't say anything to her and I smiled. But when I was leaving, I left her a note. I tell her, "You haven't lost yourself. Yourself has always been there. It's just that it has been covered up with all the noise and the distractions and the baggage that we've been carrying on." So, which is kind of tell her, happy digging. And because she wants to go to a cruise. So I told her, "I wish you all the best and happy digging.
Wow.
because your true self is. We never, when people say I've lost myself, you don't go finding yourself. You have never lost yourself. We are there. We are always present. We just forgot who we are, and we have to find our way back in. And your book, when you mentioned the unfolding, it's like peeling off the skin of onion skins and things like that. So we have a lot of tears
For sure.
during the
Layers and layers
process,
and
layers
layers.
and layers and layers. But
Yeah.
then what we get, the tears are cleansing. And when one of the things that's passionate to me as well is the topic about men finding their humanity within them. And when I speak to the feminine body or the feminine part of our humanity, we because we have such of this homophobic mentality in our society, we tend to think, oh, it's this kind of femininity. But as you mentioned earlier, it's about yin and yang. There's always balance.
Of course.
And we see a lot more women expressing their masculine self, but yet some men will say, oh, I don't want a masculine woman. But a lot of women have a lot more testosterone because they need to take care of themselves. They have to take care of their children. They have to make the decisions. They have to do so much. So sometimes it's hard for us to really settle down in our feminine self, but we need, you know, and so a lot of women also say, I want a man who is in touch with his feelings. But then when a man comes to be in touch with his feelings, they say he's too soft. What do we want? You can never please somebody, right?
You can't please anyone. You have to manifest everything in just the correct proportions. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested in exactly what you said regarding, you said the women are so masculine and stuff because they have to raise their children and deal with problems and this and that. And it goes back to something that you said last week about the ability of parents to say no, which is also super important.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know that testosterone levels are directly correlated to your ability to say no? Therefore, the more testosterone you have, the more likely you are to disagree with someone else on whatever topic. And agreeableness is one of the 7 personality traits.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very interesting topic for me. But yes, I understand what you're saying. I I'm not going to talk too directly about it, but all I can say is I understand. Society has moved in such a way, and we expect a lot of things to go back to how they were. I'm not sure if that's feasible or possible, but what I do understand, what I know for sure is you have to be able to understand at least yourself and then others before you move.
What's your advice on understanding yourself before moving forward?
Don't lie.
Oh, I love this. I love this. I love this.
If you
Oh,
lie, if you're lying to yourself, then I'm sorry for you and all of those around you.
I am. You could, as you said that, you will be surprised. The first thing I wrote down, and the first thing you said was being brutally honest with myself.
Yeah,
That is the hardest thing. But if we cannot be honest with ourselves, then we don't see change, and we cannot change, and
of
then we
course
cannot
not.
move forward. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to accept criticism,
For sure.
positive criticism, you know,
And negative.
and negative. Well, I don't look at it as being negative
Well,
because it
in
is
the
showing you.
traditional sense is what I mean.
Yes,
But yeah,
yeah.
sure,
But
sure.
when I say positive criticism, people criticize us to break us down.
I don't take any criticism from anybody I wouldn't take advice from. It doesn't
I
work.
is that it? Great point. And a lot of people tell you that the wise people say if somebody is not doing it for themselves, and they cannot give you advice about how to do things, right?
Yeah, and I do listen to everyone. I would say I listen open mindedly. I have a chapter called "Look for the Truth in What Everybody Has to Say or Anybody Has to Say." So instead of trying to poke the hole out, trying to harvest the lesson, but
Right.
when I listen to someone speak mentally, I'm filtering and separating the wheat from the chaff, the good from the
That's
bad.
right.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, so signal from noise, however you want to to say it.
Yeah.
So that is how my mind works. But yeah, I think there's something to be learned from just about anybody and everybody.
Well, they do say that even the toxic people and the negative people in our lives teach us a lesson how
Of
to
course.
run sometimes,
And
run
what
far
not
away
to
from them,
do.
but
What
and
not
what
to
not to
do.
do.
Yeah.
So yes, so there are always lessons. It
Of
is in us
course.
to be able to pray and to get the discernment and the lessons in it and to keep it with us, you know.
For
One
sure.
thing I have learned in these later years of my life is how to detach from people, how to let go,
Hmm.
and how to really be content, you know. And a lot of people used to ask before, "Are you happy?" I'm like, I don't know how to define happiness, but I know what peace and contentment is. But then the weekend, I had this revelation, and I'm sitting down, I was doing a meditation. I'm like, maybe peace is happiness, you know.
Hmm.
If you have to look at it in terms, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have everything that you need or you want, but that in this space and time that you are, there's a certain level of peace within yourself that you know you can manage everything. When something comes to it, you will be able to deal with it. But there is no sense of worry, there is no sense of urgency, because what can we do? We can only live in the moment,
Exactly.
right? It's
Exactly.
only this moment. Not that you haven't got to plan for the future, but as I say, worrying about the future and crying about the past, they're not going to bring us, because we only have the now. As Eckhart
Exactly.
Tolle will tell us, we only have the now. And
Aho.
so many of us fret. We have this present moment and we're worried, and then we lose the basic significance of the presence of who we are, whose presence we are in, or a gift or a simple gesture of the birds, or we're walking on, some of us in fall, you know, the leaves falling, just these simple things.
For
These
sure.
simple things, we miss out on those things.
But it's it's possibly because of what you said as well. You're standing too close to something to see it for what it
Mm-hmm.
is. You know, overexposure breeds desensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very much, very much. Great saying. Okay, so as we said, overexposure, we most likely we have a high age range, maybe, you know, parents looking at this. And one of the reasons why I wanted also to start off the programs going into the new year, speaking on intention and mindset, because young people who come on my program are not who they are by accident. Children are raised with intention. Sometimes we do not, whether we know we're doing it or whether we know whether we're not, don't know what we're doing, whether we do it in purpose, everything we do is intentional.
Hmm.
Does that make any sense to you?
I get it.
Okay, so our intention can be good and bad, as well as if we do not have the skills in getting our children to a particular way, we want to see our children a particular way, but go in a particular way, but then they're not getting there, and then we become frustrated with the process because we do not know how to bring it across, and we get frustrated with ourselves and we pass it on our children. I don't know if I'm making any sense to you.
I'm following. I'm following.
Okay.
Not yet a
What
father, but soon, hopefully. But I'm following, taking heed.
Yeah, what would be your advice? Because as we mentioned, part of your audience from your book is about parents being intentional with their children.
So,
And we want to also share parental tips with the people who are listening. It's never too late. It's never too late to change direction.
for sure.
And what would you what recommendation or advice, because one of the things I do here is turning our young people to mentors for us. What's
Hmm.
your advice to our parents listening in or watching in, um to be intentional with your children and in any particular area.
Be open-minded and speak to your children. And when you speak, listen. That's super. That's a superpower, honestly. So I
Yes.
was, I was what you would call beat as a child, a volley. You
Yes.
know, if you made a misstep. But
Yes.
before I got beat, I always had the opportunity to plead my case, and a lot of my peers didn't have that, and I think that is a part of why I'm so articulate today, because
Mm,
whether or not I was wrong, I could, defend myself and put my case forward and then face the repercussions depending on it. So having that type of relationship with children is very important, because even what you were speaking about last week regarding parents passing up down their trauma to their children and stuff, a lot of and intentionality, and parents saying they do things and they have the ability to do things because they can, because I'm your mother, because I'm your father. um Very authoritarian perspective on things. I'm not sure that it is best thing. However, I'm sure that it has been, well, they have inherited that from their parents, and
mm-hmm.
we are now more exposed to more knowledge and information than our parents were. So we have a duty to teach them just as much as they taught us. And you have to understand, as the child, as your parents' child, to you have to understand that you have more access to information. So, give your parents the benefit of the doubt. They might have been doing the best that they could have with you. So you have to be open as well and give them time. The older you are, the more set you are in your ways. I don't think you make any huge personality changes past the age of like 14. So
I
yeah.
still making changes.
No, not in your core personality.
I still making changes. Let me tell you,
It
I'm
may be
still
in
making
your
changes.
ways or the way you behave, but in who you are at your core, not really.
Psychology does tell you that between the ages of 3 to 6, that you develop as a person, yeah, and
Exactly.
that is also where trauma is set in
Yes.
terms of relationship with the main caregivers and as well as siblings and other people in our environment. You know, um, well, one thing that has always touched me is parents saying because I can.
Yes. And
And
I
one of the
noticed that touched you
yes,
last.
and one of the things, one of my parenting styles has always been to explain why. Because in the absence of you as a parent, and the child gets themselves in a similar situation, it wouldn't be the same, but then they can reflect on the why and relate it to that situation and make a decision for themselves.
For sure. And that's independent thought.
That's right. So you're teaching the children, as you said, independent thought as well as good decision making based on facts, factual
Discernment.
decision
For
making,
sure.
you know. And it's not about, because yes, we have grown up one way. That doesn't give an excuse for us to just carry the baton just the way it was handed to us when we have resources
You
to
said
help
you
us
don't
to be
believe in
different.
failure, right? Like failure is not real. Well, if you are
No, I
subjecting
say
your
I don't believe in the word failure in when it comes to business and stuff like that, but I believe you can fail a child.
oh, yeah, I was about to tell you,
Mm.
if you subject your child to the same circumstances that you were, the exact same circumstances that you were raised in, and you have failed that child.
I
You have
agree
to
with that.
grow. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think wealth is giving your children an upbringing that was better than yours. That's better than
Definitely.
yours. That is so important, and that is the main reason why I don't have children as yet. If I had it my way, if I could if I had more time and resources to devote to a child, I would have as many as I could already. I think that's what the best part of life. That's
Yes.
when you complete everything. Because you will
Mhm.
eventually die, but you'll live on through your children and their
But
children.
if you wait to, I'm not telling you to go have kids, is something I don't. But as a parent,
Hey,
I don't.
hey.
I don't believe we can ever be ready for a child. I had my first child at 28. I still don't think I was ready. I
Okay,
had
so
the
I have
second
some
one
time.
a couple years later, and I still don't think I was ready for her. Oh my God, I wasn't ready for her. So we will, because all children are different. So you will never ever be ready. You will never be financially ready. You will never be emotionally ready. You will never be mentally ready. It's just a decision and you have to go with it because it's going to be a lifelong decision that you're going to be tied to that child. But that is where till death do us parts comes. Honestly, that is a till death do us part, you know. But another thing too in raising intentional children is you have to like your children. It's all well and good to love your children, but if you don't like your child, these are two different words and very, very powerful. I
That's
can love
very
my
interesting.
child, but if I don't like them, I don't want them close to me. I will give you everything. Just stay as far as the east in the north is from me.
Hmm.
Or some children don't like their parents because some parents are naggers. They criticize them, they put them down, and being intentional as well. One thing I also advocate for, not because you have same blood, you have to stay with them. Toxicity is what toxicity does. You're my sister, you're my brother, I love you very much, but if you're going to damage me,
You have to love them enough to
love
let
them
them
from a
know.
distance.
Yeah, I think there's a huge part of maturity that comes when
Yes.
you understand that the, when you will betray yourself last.
Hmm.
So everything else can go, but whatever you need to do for yourself is what's most important to some degree. Well, until you have children, I would say maybe. So I still that selfish. I can say that.
Mm, you still have to take care of yourself.
But yeah,
That's
because
a
you
big,
can't
big
pour from
part.
an empty cup.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I'm
You have
saying I'm
nothing
at
to
a
give.
phase where I have no direct dependence, so
Hmm.
I can be
Yes.
selfish. You can
No,
so that's
but
fine
again, it's also about intentional parenting, Ajani.
for sure.
When I started doing meditation, my children, we have a no closed doors, open door policy at home, and so I started, and they would just barge in to my room, and I'll be trying, and then they'll say, "Mommy," and very distracted. So I started to close my door, and well, they didn't know about knocking because our doors were always
Open.
open, and they will come. And then I had to teach boundaries. Okay, this is what a closed door meant. Okay, this is what. Thank you. Just tuned in. Very interesting and informative. Thank you, Mr. Peters. Stay tuned in. And our friend says again, I still think elements of our genetic coding influences our inclination on how we look at things, how we react, and how we more easily build in one direction versus another. Oh,
Agreed.
that is a lot of packing. I totally agree in that.
Agreed.
This is very, very true because, okay, I'm going to segue a little bit into what that person just said. Have you ever seen family or children who have never lived with their parents, how they behave like them? How they have never, no, seriously, they
Oh,
may have never known their family, they may never have known their parents,
no
but
comment.
they they are just. Let me tell you something. I see my brother and I see my father, and he's like Ken Robinson everywhere he goes. Up to this week, every time I say, "Oh my God, boy, you look like your father," he said, "If every time somebody told me that and they gave me $1, I would be the
Oh,
biggest, 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 biggest."
I just wanted to skip that one. That was
Yeah.
over my head.
But yeah, our it's true our genetic code it just have, but our environment also has to play a big part in it. Our
For sure.
trauma, pain trauma,
For
you
sure.
know,
So it's the nature and nurture, nature versus
nature
nurture
versus nature, and
argument, but
yeah,
it's
and
it's really nature and nurture. But
yes,
it's
there's a
up to you
balance.
to understand whatever. That's why I say know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
understand what your natural inclinations are, and then
Right.
you use that and build yourself accordingly. And for example, if you know you're very aggressive by nature, like I have a very aggressive nature and I'm very disagreeable. I have a very rebellious spirit by nature. That is who I am at my core. As a child, I was always that way. And I'm sure it gave my parents a lot of difficulty in parenting me, but they parented me in such a way to curb that so that I can coexist with others. But that's why they say it usually takes about a generation to correct something. Because what that did is it made me so agreeable that I let a lot of things slide that I
Fine.
probably shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I had to
You overcompensated, so now you have to
exactly,
go back to center.
exactly. So I'm recalibrating and finding a center, which is this phase. But I also know both extremes really well. I can be very disagreeable and I enjoy it, and I can be very agreeable and enjoy it as well. But it's all about having the ability to discern, which is what you were speaking about, teaching the children the why. Why do you do certain things? Not just this is what you do. No, why? And having the ability to think through things and realize what tool is best and how do you apply it in whatever situation you're facing.
Yes, great. I'm just so in agreement with everything that you're saying. I'm going to stress on a point that you just made in terms of your disagreeable nature.
Of course, I'm a
I
rebel by nature.
You're a rebel by nature.
Of
Okay,
course.
Mr. Rebel. That's fine. But I like that point because one of the things that I've seen parents do is to beat down children when they tend to have those type of traits. Instead of saying rebel, I would prefer, for me, I wouldn't call my child a rebel. I would say she's very adventurous,
Exactly.
curious,
Hmm.
very curious, adventurous, strong-willed,
Yeah, that's the
and
words they used.
yes, and it's not about curbing it; it's molding it. But a lot of people, have seen people beat those traits out of their children, and then later down in life they say, "You're just making people do what you beat it out of
Yeah,
them.
of course.
You beat
You've
it out of
created a
them."
conformist, a robot.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they
I,
just need a master, and that master will no longer be you after a
ex-
certain age,
and
and
as
they'll
far
be
as
like
we
the
know,
devices of the world, whatever the
right?
case is. Not very bright, not a good long-term strategy.
Because as far as we know, colonialism is supposedly dead. So there is no master, no master. You know, we supposed to be our masters of our own self. The children in class will say, "Miss, I see what you did just there." But 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 yes, it
The
is
architects, right? Let's say the architects. We're
yeah,
supposed to be the architects.
yeah, we are, and creating and molding. And sometimes children say they have a vision and say, "Oh, you cannot do this." You can't. But when we tell the children all the time you cannot, they're going to live a life of um hiding themselves. You see children slouching. It's because they're hiding themselves because they've been criticized so much, and there is so much we can tell about children in their posture, and that also extends to adults who haven't been able to relieve themselves of their pain bodies,
Exactly,
you
for
know.
sure. And you know, it's so interesting. A lot of the things that we dislike in others are things that we dislike within ourselves.
Our mirror.
Yeah, and it's another interesting point. We talk about people always say, don't project, stop projecting, you're projecting this onto me. But I don't think it's possible to stop projecting. I think we always project, but if you fix yourself properly, if you understand yourself, you'll know when you're projecting something negative onto someone else, and perhaps you'll shut up. That's also some good advice for parents. They have to know when to shut up as well. I wouldn't say it in that way. You don't tell your parents or tell anyone shut up, obviously, but having that skill is important. And
My children used to tell me, "Listen, Linda, listen. You're too quick." And I hear it, "Oh, mommy, you're too quick. Listen, listen, you're too quick." And that's every time I hear that, I hear it in my head. I hear them in my head. And to be honest, having kids have made me a better person.
Of
Definitely.
course.
I'm the best version of myself today. As we're talking about this, Ajani, how do you, and we're coming down to the end of our program, how do you see the role of community in supporting intentional living and intentional parenting?
That's a very good question. And it goes back to the nurture part of the argument, of course. But well, you are the people that you spend the majority of your time with.
Hmm.
I mean, if I were to, I would call myself very motivated, determined, disciplined, but I'm not sure how long that would last if I surrounded myself with people, with five
Hmm.
people who are the exact opposite of me. I mean, biblically, you will hear, show me your friends, I'll show you who you are. So, of course, the people you interact with the most have a strong effect on who you are and who you
Right.
become. So,
Yes.
naturally, you would like to spend time with those who have goals similar to you. And I said that specifically because that gives you autonomy. It gives you the ability to choose and to shape your destiny. And I said that because when we hear the word community, we always think perhaps about where you live or the people directly around you, physically or geographically. But that may not necessarily be the case. I mean, with social media and access to talk to people from all over the world, I would call your community the people you spend most of your time with, and that may not necessarily be a physical thing.
Right.
So, what your question? Could you repeat your question?
What is the role of community in intentional parenting or intentional living?
Oh,
Where the
yeah,
support comes from?
yeah. If you expose your child to whatever you expose your child to, that's what they. Not necessarily that. I don't want to speak in absolutes because
Yeah.
there's always
It's
room
a
for.
village, right? It's a
Of course, it
village.
takes a village to raise a child, but what I was going to say is your child is more likely to become what they're exposed to more so than what you tell them. So what you show them is what they will do. And you are not the only role model for your child.
Hmm.
So I have uncles, I have aunts, I have so beyond my parents, there are people that I look at and emulate.
Hmm.
And I see certain aspects of them in my own behavior. And I can't remember how it came to be. I just
Hmm.
feel myself acting it out sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
life is really a big stage where just actors. Everything is calculated. And I think that's also true because if you if you were to be left in a vacuum where you were not perceived by others, the way you would behave then would be different from how you behave right now.
I like to think, I don't know. I believe in authenticity.
So do I.
I how I react with you, in my space, that's how I'm going to be. I will be Kathy wherever I go with whoever I am. And my thing is, especially at this age, I'm not old, but at this stage in my life,
Well,
I
they
don't
say
think
all is to fro.
yes, yes, they said that. But I'm very much in need it still. And I'm in my authenticity. I don't feel I need anybody's approval, permission, or validation of who I am. I've worked hard to be where I am. I am not saying that I can, I don't need to grow. I'm still growing. I'm still growing into the better versions of myself.
Of course.
Tomorrow I'll be a better version of me because I've learned something from you that may change your mindset. And
Likewise.
now tomorrow I have a different mindset about something that we discussed when I'm reflecting on it. So we are always in a state of growth, you
Agreed.
know. But I totally believe in being your true self, your real self. I'm real, regardless wherever I go. I will speak my truth. You may not like it, you may not talk to me, and that's fine.
But you'll get respected though for
But
that.
I will say what I need to say.
Exactly. So
Okay,
I
so
actually have a chapter called. What were we talking about? Wow, that just slipped my mind.
community authenticity is fine. Go tell us
Oh,
about what the chapter says.
no, fall in love with the process, not the end goal.
Yes, I love that too.
Yeah,
As we saw is about now. To do otherwise through nature requires self-discipline, a level of stoicism that becomes a constant battle throughout life. I've been studying stoicism lately, and I
Ma-
totally agree with that person. The
Marcus
Stoics,
Aurelius.
yes.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of great advice through that,
of course.
to them, and yeah. So thank you very much, viewer and listener. You've been contributed some very, very positive and
Poignant points
deep
for sure.
points. Thank you so, so very much. And for the others who did not post but listen, we do hope that at least one thing remains with you. And as we recap the program tonight, what stays with you, Ajani, and what three things after you recap would you like to leave our viewing audience with? Three things.
Wow.
I know, right?
To boil everything to three is going to be difficult. Find balance would be a very important one. So,
Mm-hmm.
you want me to explain as I go, or I'll say all three?
Let's
And
say all three. Yeah. Find balance.
find balance is very important. Live true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be tolerant, but not a pushover.
Love it. Great stuff.
Thank you.
I cannot say you have the makings of, you are in your way very wise in terms of being at that age and passing on that information and that legacy for your friends, for your future generations that coming after you. The little Ajanis are going to be running around
A
in
lot of them,
in your
hopefully.
in your later years. Yes, but the conversation was very enriching. To me, the I love intellectual conversations that have my mind going all different kinds of, and
So do I.
so it's an air of, oh, what is it? Fresh breath.
A breath of fresh air.
Thank you. Yeah, it
my,
reminds me
bre- my
of,
breath is also fresh, though. I think.
I look at NCIS, and when Tony always has to correct what is her name from Israel that played in that thing,
Diva.
right? She always Ziva, right? Ziva always saying those things backwards. That brought me back to something like that. Yes,
The idioms.
the
Yeah.
idioms. Yes. So it is refreshing that you can be that for your peers, you can be that for your colleagues, because adults also look onto younger people for advice sometimes.
Smart adults do.
Smart adults too.
Yeah.
Yes, smart adults too.
Only the bright ones.
Well, and then the others, you just leave them alone, right? Just leave them to
No,
their own undoing.
you don't have to. They'll leave you alone by force.
There we go.
Yeah, sometimes the garbage takes itself out.
That's so very true.
Not calling people garbage, or
I know what you mean. Yeah,
calling their
behaviors,
ways.
attitudes.
The ways, the
Yes,
behaviors, not
yes,
them as
definitely,
people.
definitely. So we straddle quite a bit of topics in terms of being intentional, being listening, um being fluid. Or I would love that person's name, but it's a writing on such complex subjects for a lot of fluidity. It is because they flow throughout each other, and there is no brittleness. They're just so flexible that they just flow,
Because
and
it's
it's,
all one thing. It's
yeah,
all
it's
one
because,
one
and it
thing.
weaves into each other, right?
Yeah, and that's why
It's
the first chapter is everything is connected. Because, well, one, I understood that, the way the universe functions is micro and macro levels of everything,
right.
and
Mm-hmm.
everything is one thing. It's just one huge, beautiful set of creation from the divine architect of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And two is I also understood that, well, the way I fragmented the book with the names of the chapters, I can use one and call
Yes.
the
I
other
was just going to,
anywhere. They're
sorry.
the same.
I was just going to ask you to just go through the names of the chapters, please.
So I have the preface, and then I have everything is connected. Live true to your inner child. Learn to communicate. Look for the truth in what everybody has to say. Pick an argument and stick to it. Walk towards the path of resistance, not away from it. Refine your bullshit detector. That's my favorite. That's discernment.
Yes.
Design your day and curate your circle. That's the village we were speaking about. Do
Mm-hmm.
not dim your light. Pick your partner wisely. Be
Mm-hmm.
prepared to kill or die. That's ideas,
Mm-hmm.
not
Okay.
inciting violence. Learn how to flip. That's turning a negative into a positive.
Mm-hmm.
Fall in love with the process, not the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
Self validate and lead us as arbitrators of truth.
This is so comprehensive. And each chapter can be a book in its own right.
Yes, yes. It's something I've been thinking about. I just need a
Yes.
little more experience. This is just the first iteration. As soon as I live some more life, I have another one coming. I have about three written up here, but
Okay.
I need
Yeah.
to spend some time with the ideas a little bit longer. I need some more experience under my belt
Mm-hmm.
and things. I hope that, maybe within the next few months, I'll look back and see the flaws in this. And I already do. I see a lot of flaws or ways I could have improved. And I love it because it means that, of course, at 25, I don't have it all figured out. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
at 25 and a half, I'm brighter than I was at 25.
I'm sure you are. Yes.
So that is what I'm
Every day
about.
you're growing. Yes.
That's my main focus. I don't really
But
want to be right.
are they really flaws? Because at that particular point in time, that was your truth. And that
Exactly.
was your reality.
Exactly. And
So
that's why when
it's not flaws.
you're correct. Agreed. And that's why when you asked if I was interested in truth or space and time, I said both.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is part of the subjectivity of it. Wherever
Good.
you are and at what time
Yes,
determines your truth.
definitely.
Those two are inextricably, well, three technically are inextricably linked.
Linked together.
Of course.
And could you tell our audience where they can find your book?
My book is on Amazon.com. You can search Built Not Born, The Architecture of Becoming, or you can search my name, or you can search both. And you can get either the ebook or the hard copy, which I have here. This is my friend's copy. I stole it from him for the evening. He
For
doesn't know
the
I have it yet.
I have the e-copy, but I want the hard copy. So I'll go back again because when I went on, I did not see an option to get the hardcover.
Yes. So it took me a little longer to release the. It's not a hardcover. It's actually soft cover, but
Soft
hard
cover,
copy.
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a
But the
while
hard
to
copy then, yeah.
yeah to get that out. I think the book was out for about 45, 50 days before
Hmm.
I had this out, but now it's here. You can
Definitely get one.
for sure, and it's digestible. Supposed to be. It's supposed to be a quick read,
Hmm.
but it's supposed to tattoo your soul and your mind properly.
Hmm. But it's a read that you can go back to as a guideline.
Of course, it's you
So
read
you
it. You
do
can read it a million times and get
right.
different
So
different
and
points.
I like the shortness and the brevity of it because then you can carry it anywhere. You can slip it in your bag, as well as you can read it quickly, but then you can go through it. And the
Ex-
chapters, though they are, I like the term the other person used, fluid or linked, but they can still stand on their own. So you can start anywhere in the book and
exactly.
read
And
any particular chapter that stands out to you at any one particular point in time.
it was deliberately made that way. That was
Look,
very
very intentional.
intentional. As you, I know you wanted to say that.
Very intentional. Ajani, I want to thank you so much. Remember, I keep on forgetting to tell our followers to follow and like the channels that we are looking at us on tonight. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Roku, SBE Radio Canada. And thank you so much, TDN Network, for facilitating the youth effect. I am so honored to be blessed by these wise young sages of our generations.
I'm just one guy, one person, and who has,
You're one of many.
yes, and a lot of people have poured into me, and they know themselves, my immediate family and extended family, and my close friends.
Mhm.
Too numerous to mention, like they would say on the death announcements back home. But every, everybody knows themselves.
Yes, yes. So as we are signing off and saying good night, any last thoughts in addition to what you just said? Any final words you want to share?
Uh, so many words to ask for final words is always difficult with me. Oh, how deep you want me to get?
It's all about you. This is your stage.
Uh,
This is your
uh,
platform.
One of my uncles says something to me all the time. No matter what happens, we'll have when we discuss things like how are you doing, whatever. Everything blessed. That's it. Just less is more. Everything is okay. Be still. Everything blessed.
Be still.
Santana. Yeah,
And be still is so positive because sometimes a lot of people cannot still their minds. There's so much noise going on.
for sure.
And I was speaking about meditation earlier on when we came to talking about what the gentleman was segued into. But yes, it's really really important that we learn how to quiet ourselves and to calm ourselves from the outer chaos and the outer noise. Because as you said, everything we need is within us. We just have to dig deep. And
And stare into the abyss. And don't be afraid of what stares back into you.
yes, it's a gift that really should be acknowledged. Robert Greene, look out. Is that your name? Robert Greene?
No, Robert Greene is
Who's
one
Robert Greene?
one of my favorite authors. The person who wrote this
Oh,
actually gifted me a Robert Greene book that
oh.
it looks very beat up because I carry it daily and I read it daily.
Okay, and what is the name of that book? I'm writing it down because I'm a reader too.
We're not doing any Robert Greene promotion here. We're doing
Okay,
that.
I'm sorry.
I'll,
You
I'll
said it to
send,
me privately.
I'll send
He
it to you
says,
on
I
text.
need my copy
Yeah.
autographed. Very right too. With the right exposure, this book will become a classic in years to come. I totally agree with you, as well as the others to follow it. Janice you have good insight, good discernment. I thank you so much for committing to coming on the program
For
tonight.
sure.
Uh,
Thank you
you
for having me.
you are most welcome. I wish the program was 2 hours. The
We can,
conversation is really interesting, and I can have you on again. We'll be willing to come back on again with us.
of course, so we can run it back. We need to.
Yes, yes. There's so much stuff we can explore. And thank you so much. I wish you all the best in your ventures and look forward to reading more of your books.
Thank you.
Okay. And to those of us who are there or they're fine, if you don't remember anything that was said tonight, be intentional.
Intentional.
Be intentional in your thoughts. Be intentional in your words, be deliberate in your actions. And then you'll find there's so much more peace circulating in your circles. And there's some, as Ajani said, some garbage will take itself out.
And sometimes you need to take it out too. Don't be scared to take
Yes.
it out. Enjoy
And
your
then to making space for better things to fulfill that space and to
for
help
sure.
fulfill you and to add value to your life. So I want to thank you again and thank you for our listeners. You are looking at the Youth Effect on TBN Network. I am Kathy Robinson Sayan. Every Monday night from 8 to 9:30 Eastern Time. You'll find me right here. Or if not, there'll always be a replay. But look forward. Send us your emails at the youtheffects767@gmail.com. Send me your conversations, your comments, your criticisms, what you'd like to see. Okay? We are open to your comments. We are open to your feedback because this is for you. Thank you once again for being here with us. Have an awesome week. Be blessed and be intentional. Good night.
Yeah, men's, we back with another one for the youths in them. Yeah, young, brilliant minds, future in sight, got the power to make change, make the world ignite. Let nobody say you can't achieve your dreams are seeds, sow and just watch them grow. But you gotta believe in the youth effect. We're raising up the youth effect. Can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth